Hello, 大家好, I'm Grace from Grace Mandarin Chinese. In today's video, we're going to talk about 5 characteristics of the Beijing Mandarin accent, 北京口音. As you know, a lot of people speak Mandarin, so it's natural to have different accents among native speakers, just as there are many different accents in English. So in order to achieve a higher level of proficiency in Chinese comprehension, adapting to different accents is crucial. 那话不多说，我们现在就来了解北京口音吧。The characteristics I'm going to talk about may also apply to other regions in northern China, since the dialects there are similar to some extent. Alright, the first characteristic of the Beijing Mandarin accent is sometimes U is pronounced similar to V. Before the sound A and A, U is often pronounced similar to the V sound, which uses your lower lip and upper teeth. For example, 晚上 becomes 晚上晚上
晚上吃饺子
今儿晚上好
外国 becomes 外国外国
我做什么了？我那天都看见外面那个外国小帅哥。
为什么 becomes 为什么为什么
是你为什么老要担心对方的想法？
你们知道你们为什么这么爱我？
问题 becomes 问题问题
许多毕业生面临毕业找工作困难的问题。今天
The second characteristic is that there are many sound reductions. When speaking fast, it's common to reduce certain sounds in speech. Almost every native Chinese speaker does it. However, Beijingers, 北京人, are particularly well known for speaking fast and reducing sounds. For example, when 知 and 诗 are in the second character of a word or in the middle of a phrase, they are often reduced and sound like a short 日 sound. For instance, 老师 becomes 老儿不知道 becomes 不知道
都不知道我有多喜欢你的歌。
你晓得这是什么吗？
不知道
多少钱 becomes 多少钱
你以为像我这样的演员能挣多少钱啊？
不知道
哎，你这儿多少平米啊？啊，多少钱啊？要哎，多少钱
？50万。
图书馆 becomes 图书馆 Another thing is that some sounds might slur together in commonly used words. For example, 这一个 becomes 这个 And in daily life, people might also pronounce 这个 as 这个那一个 becomes 那个 And 那个 can also be pronounced like this. Yeah, I know, it sounds just like the English N word, but it has nothing to do with that.
那个到底什么玩意儿？
These two words, 这个 and 那个 can not only be used to refer to things meaning this one or that one, they can also be used as filler words when you are thinking about what to say next. So you will hear them a lot in daily speech.
哎，我不是叫你呀，老伯啊，我是叫那个小鬼，我忍你很久了，出来。
Another one, 哪一个 becomes 哪个
哪个呀？哦，他呀。
哪个？
就是那个。
不用 becomes 甭
担心，该是你的，跑不掉。
There are some other kinds of reductions in the Beijing accent and in other Mandarin accents as well. If you're interested to learn more, check out this video. I will put the link in the description below. Here are some other words in the Beijing accent that might sound different from what you learned in class. 今天 becomes 今儿
今儿晚上好。
明天 becomes 明儿
那明儿见啊。
两个 becomes 俩
我们俩呀，都特别爱装。
一个鼻子，俩眼睛，和咱们一样呗。哎，好了好了。
三个 becomes 仨
干嘛呢？你们俩？这仨？
当年咱们仨配合。
我告诉你 becomes 我告诉你。
郑东杰，我告诉你啊，你看啊。
我告诉你啊，你是最棒的。
The next characteristic is using the neutral tone more extensively. The neutral tone in Mandarin is pronounced lightly and shortly. In the Beijing dialogue, there's a greater tendency for the second character within a word to be pronounced with the neutral tone, such that you will feel like the word stress is usually on the first syllable.
去年的生日的时候，然后我爸爸就是去年的生日的时候，然后。
However, in Southern Chinese and Taiwanese accents, many words with the neutral tone might be pronounced using the original tone of the characters. For example, 便宜 in Southern Chinese accents, it might be pronounced as 便宜漂亮聪明困难 So in Southern Chinese accents, as well as in the Taiwanese accent, the second character of a word isn't pronounced with the neutral tone as often. So it's harder to tell where the word stress is at. And that's also why whenever people are talking about Chinese word stress, there are always differing opinions. Now let's move on to the next one. 儿化. In the Beijing accent, they tend to use more of the R-suffix, meaning that they often add the sound at the end of a word. For example, 好玩 becomes 好玩聊天 becomes 聊天
看不出来呀，小伙子，挺会聊天啊。
没事 becomes 没事儿
闺女多吃点没事儿，我说我
没事儿。
Here are some common ones that you might have learned. 这里 would be 这儿. In southern China or in Taiwan, we use 这里, but in northern China, you might hear 这儿 more.
10几年不见，这儿碰上。
Another example. 那里那儿.
人呢？都在那儿，走。
哪里哪儿。
喂，你在哪儿啊？
一点儿。
走的时候肯定给你收拾的一点都看不出来，骗你是孙子。
Usually, this er-suffix is attached to nouns and is known as the diminutive suffix, which means it's added to a word to show affection or indicate smallness. So usually when you're talking about something more serious or referring to something honorable, you wouldn't use this suffix. For example, 花鸟小孩 can add this suffix and become 花鸟小孩, but don't add this suffix to something like 北京人总统 or 大学. However, this is just a general concept for this suffix. There are still many exceptions. So if you'd like to learn the Beijing accent, I recommend you just listen more and try to memorize the words that are often attached to this suffix. Okay, now let's talk about the final characteristic of the Beijing accent. It's a special feature that is mostly found in women from Beijing. Many women from Beijing tend to pronounce ji, qi, xi, similar to zi, ci, si, and it's most obvious on the xi sound. So for example, 谢谢 might be pronounced like 谢谢. You can hear the si sound here more. 谢谢. Another example. 这闻起来真香 becomes 这闻起来真香香香 The first one is 吸 and the second one is 丝香香 If you're curious about this phenomenon, you can look up the term 女国音 But just a reminder, most of the information about this is written in Chinese. Alright, that's all for today. If you enjoyed this type of video where I analyze different accents, please let me know in the comments. And feel free to recommend any specific accents that you would like me to analyze. And if you're from Beijing or currently living there, I'd love to hear your insights on other characteristics of the Beijing accent that I might not have mentioned in the video. 那如果你喜欢今天的影片，别忘记按赞、订阅和分享哦。And also, if you'd like to learn some daily Mandarin expressions, check out my Instagram, Grace Mandarin. 那我们下次见喽，拜拜。